there, I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to Ask This Old House, where if you've got a question about your house, we have got the experts who have the answer. Hey, Roger.
Morning, Kevin.
So what are you working on?
We've been getting a lot of questions about lawnmower maintenance. Today, I'm going to show you how to sharpen a lawnmower blade.
Okay.
It's easy to do, and it'll help make your yard look great.
Sounds like a good one. I'll check back in with you later.
Thanks.
We also got a letter from a homeowner who was building custom cabinets and storage for their walk-in closet. Now, he got in way over his head, and he was a little embarrassed to ask for help. But he did, so we're going to give him a hand. Hey, Richard.
Good morning.
So what are you working on?
I've got a homeowner that's got an outdoor garden faucet like this. When he shuts it off, the water wouldn't hold, the washer didn't hold. So what he did, instead of fixing the washer, he just had another shut-off right here. And so he shut it off this way. Well, not a bad solution, but I thought we could do a little bit better. Now out here at your outside garden faucet, also called a silcock, you can see that even with it shut off, it's dripping. Now inside this faucet, there's a stem unit. Let me just pull it apart. It has a washer right here. Now oftentimes this washer can wear out and you get this kind of condition. Now, the other thing about this type of faucet is the washer sits outside the building, and that leaves water in a place that it could freeze in cold climates. Let's take a peek inside. All right, so here's our cold water main coming in right here. You can see the branch that goes out to the outside faucet, and that sits right outside the building right here. I'm glad to see a shutoff valve right here.
And I close that every winter and try to drain it as much as possible from the outside.
Good. Now, that'll reduce the chance of a freeze out here, but it won't guarantee it, because this type of valve is not really what I like to see. I prefer to have one that has this little valve on the side called a waste. Now, when you shut this off, you can open this, and that'll allow air in. And once I allow air in, every bit of the water in this pipe will then want to drain to outside, and there's no chance of a freeze. But we're not going to rely on this anymore. Today, I want to do this. I want to change your outside faucet that looks like this. You can remember the washer sits right out here where it can be frozen, to a frost-proof silcock. One thing you'll notice about it is it's long. The reason for that is that the stem unit is long. Here it is right here. And you can see that the washer sits at the end of this long shank. And the shank sits all the way in here. You can see I did a little cutaway to show you where the washer is. So water sits right here. The washer goes up against it. This is so far back into the house, there's no chance it can freeze. So you don't really have to shut that valve off every year anymore. Now it starts with us cutting out that pipe. All right, Eugene, I want you to take this cutter, put it around the pipe, snap it together, and then just spin it around in the direction of the arrow. It's a pretty cool cutter. Perfect. Go. Got it? A little bit of water. See, we need that little drain valve. How's that going up your arm? Pretty good?
Yeah.
All right, good. Pull that right out. All right, here's our new frost-proof silcock with a copper adapter on the end right here. I just want to put it into place. And then I want to mark it in 2 spots. You can drill holes and secure it to the wall. Now with my holes drilled, I'm going to reinstall the frost-proof silcock, but I want to just caulk behind it to keep the heat inside the building. There we go. Now a couple of these concrete screws. Okay, now I also want to take out the stem unit before I solder. I don't want the heat to melt that washer. So there we go. All right, let's go solder. All right, so here's the end of our frost-proof silcock, and now we're going to connect it into this coupling right here. So I just need to measure one piece, and that is 1.5 inches. I'd like you to take the emery cloth and just clean the end of that pipe, all right? Sure. All right. All right, can we cut an 1.5 inch piece? That is pretty good. Now I just need to flux everything, and we can solder it together. All right, let's go outside and put that stem unit back in. With our soldering done, we can reinstall our stem unit. Just lines up right there. Just pass me that crescent wrench, good. And once you run inside and just turn on that water again, would you for me? Sure. All right.
So does it work, Richard?
Well, let's see. You do the honors. Give it a try. Open her up. Good. Now shut her off. Now when you shut it off, it'll take a little longer for the water to drain out because that washer's so far back. Look at that. No drip.
Thank you so much, Richard.
Enjoy.
Roger, nothing makes me happier than the thought of spring coming, even if it means I have to mow the lawn.
Don't you love that time of year?
Well, we got a lot of questions about mowing the lawn, or specifically about sharpening lawnmower blades.
Yeah.
So when do you have to sharpen them?
Kevin, you let the lawn tell you when to sharpen. You take a piece of grass after you cut it and you look at it. If it's a nice clean cut on the top of a piece of grass, then your blade is great.
Okay.
If it's all ragged on the edge, that's not good.
Do I really care if it's ragged on the edge?
Yeah, for two reasons. One, a disease could get into the grass because it's ragged. The other is your lawn, 2 or 3 days after you cut it, is going to have a brown cast to it. It's not going to look good.
Okay, so we need to sharpen it. And how often am I likely to have to sharpen every season?
I want you to sharpen right before the first cut. That's the most important thing. After that, it depends on how good you are with a mower. If you don't hit rocks or anything, if you hit a rock, you got to sharpen it right away. Usually, if you don't, 2 or 3 times during the growing season, you're good.
Okay, so let's talk about getting the blade off. Any tips?
Yep, the first thing we do before we do anything to the mower for safety purposes, we remove the spark plug wire.
So get that off of the
There's
metal
no
tip
way
right
this
there.
engine can fire and injure you now.
Gotcha.
The other thing is the spark plug wants to be up. It's important when you tip the mower up that this is straight up in the air.
So tip it this way, not side to side.
Right, if you go side to side, the oil or the gas can come out of the machine. This way you don't have to empty the oil or gas to work on it.
Okay, so the spark plug's right in front there.
Right here, it's gone,
And that means I can tip it this way.
straight up in the air.
All right.
There you go.
I'll secure this for you.
But now you can see right here that we have easy access to the 2 nuts that are holding the blade in place. A lot of people will use a piece of wood to hold the blade to keep it from turning. That's good if you can keep it at a 90-degree angle. But if the wood's at an angle and you take and really force that blade, you could bend the blade and then the blade would be no good.
Okay.
So what I like to do is put on a glove. I'm going to grab the blade. Now this is the important part. You want to have the right size socket for these nuts. If you don't, you can round them off very easily because you're putting so much pressure on them to remove them.
And then you'll never sharpen the blade.
Yeah. One advantage of changing these blades very frequently is the nuts come off easily. If you left them on there for 2 or 3 seasons, they'd be a real bear to get off.
I'm afraid to look underneath my mower.
Why, you haven't sharpened your blade lately?
Well, my grass hasn't said anything yet.
Well, let me show you several ways to sharpen a lawnmower blade. The first is going to be with a metal file. First, I'm going to put the blade into a vise and tighten down to hold it securely in place. Nice and tight. I'm going to take and put on my other glove. This is a metal file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trace the angle on this blade to keep it the same. I'm just going to make strokes in one direction until I get a nice edge on that blade.
And that's filing on the downstroke?
That's it. It only files on one stroke. I'm just going to keep going over this angle till I get all the nicks out of the blade and a nice sharp edge. I'm just going to go along the back and take off any burrs, and that's pretty good. Now, if you have a cordless drill, you can get an attachment to put in it to sharpen your lawnmower blades. And what it is a sharpening stone on the top and then a plastic guide, and that just goes right into the drill. And if you bring the drill over here, I want you to grab some eye protection too.
We got some right here.
Okay? And that should run right across the edge with a guide on the back side.
Well, that's pretty easy to use, and yeah, what do you think? That's pretty sharp.
That's great.
Boy, my grass feels this.
Now, Kevin, there are some other tools you can use. You can use a handheld grinder, or you can use a bench grinder. Now, this is the tool I prefer because it makes short work of it.
And you're sharpening a lot of blades.
Yeah, and I'm going to put on some eye protection. Turn the grinder on. That looks pretty good, Kevin. Now, you have to remember that when you're sharpening a blade, you are actually removing metal. So you want to make sure you remove the same amount from each side so that the blade is in balance.
Because that's actually spinning really fast off of the center axis.
That's right. And if it's out of balance, it can cause damage to the machine. Now, to check the balance, you can get a little plastic balancer like this. Simply set the blade on. You see that end's heavier. So I would take this blade and grind off some more off the heavy side.
Okay.
Now, if you don't have a balancer, you could simply put a small nail into any piece of wood and then just hang it on there. And it should.
Oh, yeah.
There it goes.
Okay.
That's the heavy end.
All right, so let's have a look at the blade that you and I both sharpen and see if we're in balance. Hey, how about that, huh?
I like that.
That's
Now
nice.
we're ready to put it back on the machine. But before I mount it on the machine, I want to clean all this grass out from underneath. Then I'm going to mount this blade on and tighten it properly.
Nice, Roger. Bring on the spring.
All right, gentlemen, here we go. I brought 2 in to confuse you. Not that you need any help. But actually, they're both the same, if you haven't noticed. It's coil-like, so springy, right? Has a black hole on one end and a clear hole on the other end. What is it?
You know, I've seen these. These are really cool.
I got it.
You got it?
Tommy, you are going to want these for your boat.
Really?
These are the newest binoculars. You can see 6 or 7 miles with no problem at all.
Yeah?
And if you hear someone around the corner, hi.
You hear someone?
They look good on you.
I've actually have seen these being used around my house.
Yeah.
Really?
The boys are back from college, live at home.
How's that going?
And then late at night, so they're using these to sort of sneak in.
On all fours?
Sometimes.
No, you guys got it all wrong. These are actually used in the airline industry. And you know, times are tough in the air these days. They are charging for everything.
Oh, yeah.
Charging you to check your bag. They don't give you a pillow or a blanket anymore without a couple bucks.
No food?
No food. They
Back
charge you
for
food.
peanuts.
Yeah. You know what they're doing now?
What?
They stopped pressurizing the cabins. What? Everyone's ears are like going out. But for $5 when you're getting off the plane, proper change is appreciated. The stewardess will actually depressurize your ears for you.
Good.
Here, sir, can I help you?
Thank you.
Ah, thanks for flying. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, my God. I can't believe any of your answers. Actually, it comes apart. The black end comes off, and you put it on a drill.
Ooh, that would hurt in your ears.
Yeah. Now you snap this together, and let's say you want to drill a hole in a wall or a ceiling, and you don't want to make a mess.
I can
All
see
right?
that.
So let's get a piece of drywall over there if you two guys can handle it.
I guess we're the ceiling, huh?
Okay, you can be the ceiling. Now, if I want to drill a hole in the ceiling, I'd reach up with my drill bit in there, turn it on. All the dust is captured in the little spring.
That is cool.
Not bad, huh?
Over the years, we have heard from a lot of homeowners, and many of them are, well, really capable. But some of them really need our help. Like this homeowner.
You ever do a project around your house and all of a sudden you get to this hurdle where you just can't seem to get over it? I've been in this house for 35 years. It was my starter house. I'm still starting. But I'm actually doing a project right now where I could really use another hand. Now ask this old house, do you have anybody that you could send out to give me a hand? And not that host guy. Kevin, I think his name is. Not him. Anybody but him.
Hey, Tommy, you should know that there's just no shame in asking for help, okay?
Well, I definitely need your help, Kevin.
The first step is just admitting that you're in a bind, and I appreciate you being honest.
Well, I'm on that first step.
So we've got a walk-in closet here, right? It's pretty good size.
Pretty good size. It's about 6 by 8.
Yeah.
Tall ceiling, a little over 8 feet tall.
And you want to build some storage for clothes.
Right. What I want to do is I want to build matching units on each side of the closet.
Okay.
And it's basically just a series of boxes. 4 boxes. In this box right here, there's going to be 2 pull-out units. One for shoes, one for pants.
Gotcha.
A pole here to hang clothes. And upper units will have poles that are up high.
Gotcha. So 4 basic boxes, but we've got some specialty hardware to help us maximize the space.
Right, exactly.
And all made out of plywood.
Well, this is 3/4 inch birch. Now it comes primed. And what I've done is I've actually put I've sprayed a finish coat in the color that I want for the inside.
Gotcha.
Once I build them, put them all together, then we'll have to touch it up.
All right, so it starts with cutting up the birch plywood?
Yeah, let's get started.
All right, you got some tools in the truck. Let's get them.
All right. All right, now the sheet is a 4 by 8 sheet, and the 8-foot pieces would be too difficult to get upstairs. So what I want to do is I want to cut the sections in pieces. So I'll have 4 individual boxes. So we'll cut the lower section first. The remaining piece will give me the upper section. All right, let's measure 45 3/4. All right, now we'll put a straight edge on that. Good. Now we're going to cut the top and the bottom for each one of the upper units. All right, because we're going to see this edge of the plywood right here, I want to hide all those layers of the plywood using a veneer strip. It's a heat-activated strip that will go right on top like that. Now, I could use a clothes iron and press it on. I could use a heat gun, use a block of wood and press it on. I could use this veneering tool right here. It's actually a heat gun. It has an attachment to hold the roll of veneer, and I feed it in. Now, the heat gun is starting to heat up the glue right now. Slide it in place. Now, the heat will start to activate the glue. Push it in slow. I've got to bring it all the way out to this roller right here. Now, take the sheet, put it against the roller, and slide it out nice and slow. Now we have to sand the edge of the veneer. To lessen the chance of pulling the veneer off the edge of the plywood, use a sanding block at about a 45-degree angle and push towards the veneer. All right, with all of our pieces cut to size, let's show you what we've got going here. This is a lower unit. All right, these are the 2 sides. This is a divider for the middle. Next thing we want to do is cut for this piece right here that will hold the two side pieces parallel. I'm going to cut a rabbet right there.
Okay.
All right. Now, down here, we're going to install this shelf. This will give this unit some stability. And right here, we're going to cut a dado.
Okay, so it's off to the router.
Yep. Now, the two sides are back to back with the good side facing up. Now, I want to cut a dado right through here. To do that, I'm going to use this router with a 3/4 inch router bit, and I want to set my depth at a 1/4 inch deep. Using the same bits set at the same depth, I'm now going to cut a rabbet at the top of the side.
So the drawer slide hardware has been installed on the bottom and the top right here.
All right, now this dado right here is actually called a stop dado, which means it doesn't continue on all the way through. This little cut right here in the shelf is called a hunch cut, and that will go into the dado, slide forward, and cover the end.
Nice clean seam right there.
I'm going to make it even on the back. All right, tip the shelf up to me.
There you go.
Now you can put a couple of screws right in those holes that we've already drilled. Now we have a little filler strip that's going to go right here on the back of the cabinet.
Now, the other side. Cool. Good.
The back of the cabinet is made up of 1/2 inch plywood, and that's screwed to the frame. Okay, put you down to me. All right, there's the first one. Now we'll make up this one right here.
The bottom closet will have a fixed closet rod, so these brackets will hold it into place.
Think it's going to fit? There you got it.
Got it.
All right, let's check it with a level. All right, pull the shim up just a little.
How's that?
Down just a hair. Right there. That's it.
Nice.
Okay. With the box built and the hardware installed, now we're ready to install the back. The side of the cabinet is not even with the back. It actually is pushed in. We have to pull it out. Put a screw in here, put the hammer on the screw, pull it out gently. Now I can screw it in. Now it's even. All right, now, Kevin, this is the top left-hand corner. Well, we have to put it on top of the right-hand cabinet because we can't get by that light.
Okay, clear the light.
All right, that's good for now. Let's get the other cabinet in. Okay, let's push it back. Okay. All right, that's pretty good.
So up here, there will be a bar for shirts and things, but that's obviously too high to really operate. So we installed this specialty hardware. We screwed it into the sides, and it is actually counterbalanced. And what it allows you to do,
Let's bring the clothes to you. Pull down this other bar. This is actually called a wardrobe lift. There you go. Pretty good.
got ourselves a fixed rod over here. Down on this side, we got a shoe rack that slides in and out.
We got a rack here for the slacks and pants. And look at this. A wardrobe lift. Bring the clothes right down to me.
That is pretty nice. All right, Tommy, so we did all of the closet on this side. You think you can do the other side all by yourself?
With all that you taught me today, I think I can handle it, Kevin. I couldn't have done it without you.
That's what we do, Tommy.
So, was it hard to ask for help?
Oh, yeah. It was hard.
It's really good to have an expert around, you know?
Do you know where I can find one?
Well, if you've got a question about your house, we'd love to help out. And we've got the experts and Tommy. I can lend a hand. So send us a letter or an email. And until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
I'm Rich Trethewey.
I'm Roger Cook.
And I'm Tom Silva.
For Ask This Old House.
You'll pay for that one.
I swear, right? We're even.
Oh, yeah, we're not even close.
We're even.
If you have a question about your house, visit our website, pbs.org, for expert advice and much more.